So spotting opportunities, knowing when to slow down, speed up, and when to pivot. And it might be a couple things. It might be in one market versus another market. One market might be doing one thing, and another market might be doing something else. So understand, a lot of times you ever heard the term micro markets? One area of this town over here by Redlands might be red hot, and another town 3 miles away is just slowed down. You just never know. So understand that. But also when to pivot. And again, that's what we're talking about, adaptability. But today's real estate market is down, up, sideways. It's kind of going all over the place. All right. I know some people. I just saw a post from a friend that was like put a mobile on in a park, and it sold within like 8 days for like $10,000 over asking. Great. And I know other people that are like, I talked to some of my mentors in the last week, and they're like, I'm about to drop a house, maybe $60,000 because it's not selling, but it's priced right. Beautiful home, put a lot of money into it, should sell. Area Murrieta, just not selling. And you're like, wonder why? Because there's a lot of different things at play, okay? So what does it really mean for us, okay? That's the thing, is it matters, because how many of you are fix and flippers? That you do fix and flipping among other things? Okay. How many of you wholesale? Okay. How many of you are landlords, though, as well, or housing providers? How many of you do Lonnie deals, mobile homes, stuff like that? Okay. How many of you do notes, mostly, lend, et cetera? Okay. So everything we're talking about might affect one more than the other. Understand? Okay? So why does that adaptability matter? It's really when you got to know when to shift, to modify and shift. What happens, a lot of people, is they stay running down a certain path too long without adjusting or shifting, and they kind of miss the mark. And it might cost them money or a deal.
And I it's funny when I heard you say you got to know when. Like, there's no rules here, okay? It's really what it is you got to have the ganas, you got to have the guts to pull the trigger, to say, hey, I need to move, I need to get out, I need to pivot. So recognizing, that's really what I think we're here to do for you guys today, is to recognizing, like I was talking to Tom earlier, instead of 200,000, he only made 10,000. That's a win. That's a win.
Right. So, as your former partner used to say,
you
never go broke.
never go broke taking a profit. Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's
keep that in mind.
Go ahead.
Who knows Nick Manfredi? All right.
Yeah.
He cut back majorly on his advertising just recently. I talked to him the other day for like 90 minutes. Why? Because certain things weren't working, and he was just throwing money away. Because that's what's going on right now. He still made a lot of money, but not as much as he usually does. So understand that. It's also really easy to buy properties and harder to sell. So what happens, and I've checked with people that were in the market 20 years ago on the downturn, and on a previous downturn, one guy was in three downturns. It's a lot of people out there, and they're buying, and they're not noticing that they're not selling their properties as fast as they need to, and then they have cash flow problems, okay? Matter of fact, today, you told me when you were in 29 Palms about the house that was foreclosure that was obviously ran out of...
So I go out and I look at a lot of auction properties. So these are properties that have already sold at auction. So they're done. The old owners don't own them anymore. And I've noticed, I think the number's 5 properties. So I recently got back from San Francisco looking at them, and there's one out at the desert right now. It's right at the opening of Joshua Tree National Monument, which in Joshua Tree, that's prime time. That's where I think the weed industry is kind of entrenched out there. But this house, I was told, the agent told me that it would sell for $950. I have an opportunity to buy it for under $2. And
the agent told you $950.
The agent told me, oh, it's worth $950.
In the first 5 minutes.
She was kind of popping off to me, and then I sat and I asked more questions and more questions. Who's your buyer? Who's the person that's going to buy this property? She looked at me like I was crazy. I go, no, tell me, who is it? She goes, well, locals can't afford $950 prices. It's tourists. And then so I'm just saying, because of the experience I have, I asked a lot of questions. Well, guess what the price became after all these questions were asked? Well, if you could get $495 for it, that'd be, if you could rehab the property so you could sell it for $495, that would be something I could sell tomorrow to a local, is basically what she was saying. So this is what the market is right now. It looked like a home run, a $900,000 house for $220,000. 28,000, I think was the number. I don't remember.
And it was
but
completely framed out with
Yeah,
a
but it
new furnace in it, but you can completely see
it had a
through it.
$20,000 heating and air conditioning system in it that I was looking at through the rafters with pipes, and I couldn't believe it was still there. I mean, I was thinking I could maybe
Someone
put it
ran
in my
out of-
car, but you know.
Yeah, someone ran out of money during a project. Okay,
Yeah.
The chatter is in the real estate world that I'm hearing is that's happening multiple times. I'm hearing about certain late payments for some people.
Absolutely.
There's enough nationwide hearing it from different groups and different mentors and friends of mine that we're seeing it. So you can't ignore it. Do I modify what I do a little bit? Yes. Am I aware of it more? Yes. Is it just saying, be careful? That's all. All right. I know other people that are still like kicking out of the park. But what happens is that all of a sudden you have 5 deals going on and now you have 18 because you thought those others 8 were going to sell and they don't, and now you're having trouble. All right? Understand that. So again, success favors those who pivot strategically. All right? So I'm going to talk about that real quick. Angela and I, when we started, anyone knows that meme. It's just one of the funniest episodes about pivoting there. But Angela and I, when we started, we were like, well, we have jobs, and they were paying the bills, barely. But, well, at the time they were good, and then 2009 hit, and we took a pay cut. But the bottom line was we got into long-term rentals. We bought a couple properties because prices had crashed. And we're like, well, we have good jobs at the time, so it's paying the bills, and I'll buy some long-term rentals. So we did. We paid $60,000 for these houses, and we make like $500 a month. Or one house I think was making clearing $1,200 a month, so it was like pretty good at the time. Then we ran out of money, so then I went and spent $1,500 to some TV guy, and learned about partnerships and raising money. We raised money, went and bought a lot more long-term rentals. So we were cash flowing later, a couple years later, but I wasn't making any money. There's some, but not enough. And then I realized, okay, I need to pivot again because I had gone from just single family to a lot of multifamily. We had like 25, 30 doors at the time, just really weren't making much, not enough to do anything. And then pivoted again and realized that by selling a lot of those properties in some of the rough areas, and start flipping and wholesaling because the market was still just flat. It was going up, but very slowly. We're talking 2013, 14, 15. And started flipping and wholesaling, and guess what? That was, for us, it was a good time to get going. And we started doing that even though I was ingrained against that. We started flipping and started really enjoying it for 5 years. That's what we were doing. And we started then, after Mick Blackwell started smacking me around more about buying rentals again, we started buying rentals. Oh, in the meantime, we got our son Richard to come on out and help join us. And he's, as you know, with Rich, he's brilliant. He came around in our back end of our company, and then we created Sir Cash together, Sell Thy House. And we went and, for a period of like 7 years, made a lot of money together because we scaled up a little compared to what we were doing. We went from doing like 3-4 deals a year to 20 to 35, all right, depending upon the year. So we did really well. And then a year ago, we separated our businesses and pivoting again. So it's a constant adjustment on what's going on. And I know I was talking to someone yesterday, and they're like, oh, yeah, they work for some wholesalers. And there's wholesaling, but it's getting tough to find those deals. So what are you seeing? The prices are going up, margins are coming down. Don't trust the ARV, not that you ever could before, but all this is going on. And one of the things why when Mick 8 years ago, started smacking me around about buying more rentals, and we did that, when COVID came along, we were well positioned when we thought we couldn't flip for a while, was that I told Angela, we're going to be fine with the rentals and the notes that we have. Oh, we also started doing Lonnie deals with Andy. So started learning all these different things, and by pivoting and adapting and not just be the buy and hold guy, not just be a fix and flipper. And by doing that, we were able to not only get by, but thrive and do really well. And then, by the way, in COVID, we made more money than we ever did in any other time with what was going on. So understand that right now is time to, everyone's different. Some of you might be right where you need to be, and others, you got to watch it. Just telling you. And there's more you'll see. So that's my story about how many times doing pivots and doing different things. Don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid of mixing it up.
Okay, so I don't really have a story about I pivoted so many times, I guess is really the answer.
You started as an agent.
Like I've done this for so long. Like there was years when Mary used to come and they were building their rental portfolio, and I was a real estate agent, and I moved from that into something else, really fixing and flipping houses. But I worked with just one investor for a long time, and then he unfortunately passed. I started doing this all myself. I bought into other businesses and was able to make some money doing that. Now we own, we have the foundation where we have the charities that we operate, and we've figured out. I just was in Denver last week. My daughter happens to be out there, but also doing business with the charity. So we're doing our best to hopefully not spread ourselves too thin and able to sustain the work. But the pivot is really what we are really good at. I'm talking about my wife and I are very good at this doesn't work anymore, or we're not getting out of this what we wanted, and we found something else that we can can make work, and we're able to do that, and we're able to do it very well. And the only way we do that is it's exhausting. It's hard. You can burn your people out. I'm talking about the people that work for you, because the people don't like to see things move. Everybody wants to come to work and know exactly what's going on. But
right,
I mean,
right.
I'm just telling you though, the pivot is really what's kept us alive.
And you went from a traditional fix and flipper though, and switched over, started buying at auctions, and created an entire foundation and charity to go with. I mean, you're talking, that's like a 180
I spent a bunch of money, hundreds of thousands
So,
of dollars. But I see it's going to pay off. That's why we're involved in it.
All right, so understand though, market slowdowns are normal, and we definitely are seeing a slowdown. Anyway, I have a mobile home on the market that I would have sold really quickly, and I saw that it's taking 90 days. But the same strategy in 2 years to 3, we'll make 6 figures on that same from one other deal. So I'm not upset about it. It just sucks, but you have to know to go, you know what? Let's get real with ourselves. Let's do a shift. Let's not do that. And it might only be one aspect. It might be just changing your advertising. You know what? I did a strategy early this year with another guy with AI and all this. I was paying $1,500 a month to try some other stuff. Got some leads out of it. Started doing some other and realized it's just not. I'm just not feeling it. We stopped, paused it. That's just kind of what you do. So understand that market slowdowns are always a great for an opportunity. So understand that the price drops are more common. You're seeing the increased listing time. I mean, who thinks that's new information, right? We all know this. Market has slowed, all right? So here's some of the headlines.
Does everybody understand that if your house isn't selling in a market that we're in right now, meaning there's less buyers, there's less qualified buyers there, does everybody understand price is what drives the day, okay? So you cannot think for 1 minute that I'm just on the market. If you had a property that's on the market for more than 60 days, like you're dramatically overpriced, like 10 or 15 or maybe even 20% overpriced. And being able to run the numbers and put that together is what's important. So,
right.
Please.
Because understand, you got price, location, and the property. You can't move the property. You can fix up the house a little bit, right? But you can't do anything about the location. You can adjust the price, and you can fix up or add square footage to the house. So understand that you are limited to what you can do. But the things you can do, don't sit. You can't, if you're a flipper and you have something on the market, you're not getting too many views, you're not getting an offer, and it's been a couple of months, and you say, let's just ride this out, you're just asking for it.
You're just going to ride yourself into a quicksand
into a loss.
den.
Now, if you do that and shift to a rental, how many heard Rich's story about his Lake Arrowhead deal, how he converted it to a rental, right? So he did a deal that he knew he was going to make a lot of money on last year, got caught in permits and weather and some other stuff, and what did he do? He refinanced something, moved a note somewhere else, got it rented, and now he cash flows a few $100, and he'll make a fortune 5 years from now or 10 years from now. But by doing that, he didn't have a $50,000 loss, or I don't know all of his numbers, or $100,000 loss. I got in the same position once. I bought a house for $300,000, and it was worth $140,000 3 years later. I kept it. I still have it today. Now I make $1,000 a month from it, but I literally lost $800 a month for years on that property. I still have it for various tax and legal reasons, and it's worth. I have $200,000 in equity now.
Sounds like a hard lesson, man.
Hard lesson. So here's some of the things. Home sellers are cutting prices at record rate to lure skittish buyers. Nearly 1 in 5 homes slash prices as buyers gain upper hand. Is this everywhere? No. Is it some markets much worse? Yes. We're going to be getting into SoCal specifically. But here, again, look what that says. Things are going on. So, anyone know the Reventure app?
Yes.
Reventure. Yes, this is one of Rich, he showed me, this is the Inland Empire as of a couple days ago. This is a year over year of what's going on. And if it's red or a shade of red, that is a price increase. If it is blue or neutral, or blue or darker blue, that is a price drop. The strongest price drop on the bottom right, I think it's 12% that the scale goes. So you can see they're all shades of that, right? So zooming in, let's look at this here. So you got Moreno Valley and all that, you see that. So you see this area by San Timoteo, however you pronounce it, by Redlands, prices are up a little, just a few percentage points. All this is low, all this is down. Sometimes you do this and you have a pleasant surprise. Right in that little red spot between this road, which is Briggs and White, I have like not quite a dozen rentals right there. And one's literally on the street on the border. I know the only reason why is several new home developments went in around my mobile homes and raised the value of the whole area. Just that's why that's up.
Dramatically raised.
Dramatically, yeah. And so the idea is the adjustments going on is just from year over year, 2%, 3%. But you want to know this because if you're going to buy a house, I'm closing in Paris. Look at Paris, almost no change. Buying a house right now in Paris that I know will make a great rental. Okay, one of the members of the club, is he here, called me and said, hey, there's this thing, double wide. They paid $300,000 a year and a half ago, moved their son in, kicked him out because he wasn't making payments. They only want $125,000 for it. And I knew without even knowing, that's a deal, done. Let's put that together. And he's going to make a good penny for me too. But it's going to be a rental, and I'll rent it for $2,000 or so a month. So I'm buying right now, or I could flip it. But I don't think, if a year ago she paid $300, I think right now that I'd probably only get like $280 if I were going to fix it and sell it. So understand that, but I need to know that going in, okay? Anyone ever done where are the flippers? All right. Anyone been saved by appreciation before? You bought a house, spent a little too much in a rehab, and luckily, because you held on to it, all of a sudden you made a lot more money than you thought because you were lucky?
Your rehab took 8 months? Yeah. Yes, I have.
Yes.
Many times.
Right. That's not going on right now. So you really need to double check your numbers. That's all we're saying. Here's this area. Same thing, Victorville, High Desert. Funny, Barstow went up.